Gamers and gentlefolk, hello and welcome back to the stream. Thank you for tuning in. We're going to be bringing you some NGS action. We're back for Season 17. I'm going to be your host, The Sound, and tonight we are bringing the first match of Division C West. We get to see Clouded Minds face off against Seb, which is the proper way to pronounce that for all those curious. I will just say Seb moving forward. But, you know, the exclamation points, the E's, it really does deserve some oomph, some chutzpah, you know? Tonight is going to be a best of 3 series, as is typical in our NGS regular season. And a little bit of background on these two teams. Clouded Minds is one of NGS's oldest teams with a stable roster core going back at least as far as Season 6. I imagine they might be even older, but that's as far back as the Heroes profile goes. So that's as much as I can confirm. On the other hand, Seb formed up last season, so a relatively new team to each other, but all veterans of NGS nonetheless. And this is going to be their first time facing off against one another, as they were in different divisions last season. We can take a look at our map draft here, taking a look at what battlegrounds were picked and banned. We had Clouded Minds winning the coin toss and opting for first pick, and so Seb opted to take us to Infernal Shrines for Game 1. After Dragonshire and Towers of Doom were banned for Clouded Minds, and Braxis and Volskaya were banned by Seb. So it's gonna be an exciting match. We've got our teams filing into the lobby now, so we should be off to a rockin' start very soon. Looks like we've got a lot of folks cheering for both sides. Great to have you all in and cheering for your favorite teams. I am excited to see how they face off against one another. A little more background about Clouded Minds. It is both Ruffian and Star Knight who are... it looks like we've only got Ruffian tonight, but Ruffian has been on the team for as long as the team has existed, as far as I can tell. Going back to Season 6. So lots of history with this team. There's also been a long run from Div D all the way up to B. They've climbed. Of course, they're back down to C after 2 seasons in Division B. And some roster changes. Let me just let them know that we're ready. Right, so roster changes. They parted ways with their main roster healer, Peach, and so we're going to see Muffin Man stepping into that role this time round. Let's get into our first draft and see how these teams match up. After doing a little bit of scouting on these two teams, I believe the priority on Vala is going to be pretty high. Both teams last season showing a lot of favor for the hero. Lots of Demon Hunters picked on both sides, and it's one of the better win rate heroes for both teams. So it is a important pick for both teams to control here. I'll be interested to see if it ends up in the ban phase here, or instead if we end up seeing it as a first pick option. Hogger, an excellent first ban, both for the Battleground and against Seb as an opponent. One of their highest priority heroes outside of the Vala, with something like a 70% win rate last season. It was doing a lot of work for them. So I'm not surprised to see it taken away. It's probably Hogger's best map in the pool. And Garrosh as the response. Garrosh is an excellent hero on the map once again. His Groundbreaker is the Q, and Wrecking Ball is the throw. His Wrecking Ball ability cannot target monsters, and so on the Shrine, he can only grab heroes, which he also really enjoys maps where teams have to waddle into his area of threat. So I'm not surprised to see it taken away. And there's that Vala ban that we talked about. Controlling the Demon Hunter pick early on, I think it's a really heads-up choice from Clouded Minds. We'll see what Seb further prioritizes in the ban phase here. Looks like it's a Stukov for them. Seb has shown a propensity for double support in the past, so I'll be interested to see if the draft doesn't turn that direction. We'll see what first pick for Clouded Minds is. They have a pretty strong Johanna priority, at least they did last season, so we'll see if that's their first pick here. And it is going to be just that, Johanna first pick. Excellent. Johanna, a sturdy frontliner, great on the map, both for her wave clear and her ability to group up Shrine minions for any wave clear or Shrine clear heroes on her team. And it's going to be the Blaze Deckard response. So potentially an offlaner, potentially a main tank. Seb has shown... Is that true? Checking back on my notes here. No. I'm sorry. That was Clouded Minds. Clouded Minds have also shown a pretty heavy priority on Blaze, even playing it as a main tank last season. All right, Junkrat and Rhaegar. Excellent. Rhaegar, a very popular pick for Muffin Man. Feeling very comfortable on the hero. So we've got a lot of comfort picks coming out for Clouded Minds, which I think is going to be an important factor if they're looking to seal the victory tonight. Junkrat also great on the Shrine. There is the Leoric ban. Likely as a response to the Blaze pick, they want to give Nullius a slightly easier time in lane there. A tank is still missing from Seb, so we may see a ban on that hero pool here from Clouded Minds. Muradin is still up, as is Anubarak. I would love to see a Diablo ban. Yeah, there it is. The Lord of Terror, a great pick for Seb and a great pick for the map. Not surprising to see it taken out here. Next two picks, they need damage and a little bit more frontline if we're going for a traditional comp from Seb. A main tank Deckard is unlikely to happen. The double support pairings typically go with an Uther, and I say that and there's the Uther pick right there. Sylve Uther. Excellent. So it is a double support from Seb. They love double support. They ran it a lot last season to great effect, typically with the Vala or a Greymane as their DPS of choice. So we'll see if the Sylvanas brings that hyper carry level of damage that a double support comp kind of looks for. And there is Orphea and Dahaka. Last pick here for Seb. Could get one more damage dealer. Could be an Imperious pick. They have shown a propensity for triple frontline as well as double support. Imperious would do well with a D shield, so we'll see if that's the pick for Kubiko. It's going to be Sonya instead. All right. Excellent. So let's take a look at our two drafts as they load into the game here. I am liking the shrine clear that Clouded Minds have secured through the Junkrat and Johanna picks. Rhaegar and Orphea also great wave clear, great shrine clear. On the other side, Seb brings a lot of raw teamfight power with the Sonya, the double support. Sylvanas can put out a lot of damage. So it's definitely a tight call for me as to who's going to come out ahead. I'm going to favor Seb on this draft, I think, but it's really all about how it gets played in the end. So let's see how our teams fare here in Game 1. And introducing on the left, Clouded Minds, we've got Kian on Johanna, Muffin Man playing Rhaegar, Ruffian on Junkrat, Juggerob on Dahaka, and Terrorsaur on Orphea. And to the right in red, we've got Seb. Bankai on Uther, Marbuckle on Sylvanas, Nullius playing Blaze, Mischief on Deckard, and Kubiko on Sonya. So we can already see a sort of cheese coming out from Seb, scooting down to the bot lane, grabbing this first tower. I don't know that Clouded Minds are going to make the rotation before the tower goes down. Looks like they are going to make it in time. So a lot of damage done, but nothing too serious. A first wave clear advantage in bot lane going over to Clouded Minds here. Of course, double support loves to brawl, so the longer they stay here, the better for Seb. Orphea completing her level 1 quest. Growing Nightmare at level 1, a big power spike to get that completed, increasing the damage on as well as the slow on her E ability. Speaking of level 1 talents, we've also got Essence Collection for Dahaka. That's called Tissue Regeneration. Uther is going for that Q quest, Silver Touch, and another quick clear on the bot wave gives Clouded Minds the ability to get in on this bottom camp. So an early camp rotation advantage for Clouded Minds. Double support does lack a little bit of macro power. So we are seeing the downside of that for Seb. Kubiko taking a lot of damage here. A great boop is going to keep them in threat range. Saving the Iron Skin. Kian gets out of there just in the nick of time. Really well played from them. Level 4 is now online, and Junkrat is starting in on the trap build, going for Chattering Teeth at level 4. Traps now able to chase heroes around. Level 4, also a big power spike for Johanna, unlocking Subdue. It is a big amplification of her ability to engage for her team. 80% slow when she lands Punish onto 2 people, almost turning what was a lackluster slow into a root. First objective announced here in mid lane. Looks like it's going to be a Mortar Punisher for the first shrine. And I'm going to be interested to see if Seb doesn't take this opportunity with Sonya to do a little split pushing, if they don't feel as though they are favored in this first objective. We can see in bot lane, Kubiko's still hammering away, finishing off that tower that they started with the Sylvanas push at the beginning of the game. And it's a 5-hero commitment from Clouded Minds. Seb doing as predicted. They're splitting off early here. Checking in on bot lane, we've got Kubiko and Marbuckle wailing away, already through the front wall of bottom fort. Juggerob will respond, but they don't have much ranged anti-siege on Dahaka, so it's going to get a lot of damage here onto the first fort. Benkai doing a great job zoning this rotation so Seb knows how long they can stay. They trade half of the fort in bot for this objective. We'll see if Clouded Mines is able to get a lot of push out of this. A failed Punisher bait means that they aren't going to get the assistance of their fort in the early going. This is a coup for Clouded Mines. Millie is falling low here. A huge punishment from Johanna, catching 3. Benkai and Cubico falling low, and there's the Uther kill. They will be able to contribute a little bit through their trait healing. But some great wave clear means that the first objective, despite going over 2 Clouded Mines, the first objective phase definitely favors Seb. They were able to get a lot more done with their Sylvanas push in bot than the Punisher was in mid. Level 7s are online for both sides. We've got Conviction for Johanna, further ramping up her engage potential, giving her movement speed when casting Condemn, as well as Mind Devour from Orphea, further building into the E build for her. And on Seb's side, we've got a full Whirlwind build from Sonya, going for Life Funnel and Hurricane at 7 and 4 respectively. A great tech pick from Mischief on the Deckard, level 7 going for Emerald. The healing reduction from Emerald is going to be a big problem. Benkai eats all of the damage walking right into the middle of Clouded Mines. A second kill and level 10 secured for the home team. We'll see how much push they're able to get done here. That's going to be the Blessed Shield ripped onto the Sonya. She's dead. Little Crusader on Barbarian violence here, which canonically makes perfect sense on this Diablo map. But that's the kind of combo that we're going to want to see Clouded Mines link plenty of times here. The Blessed Shield into the Crushing Jaws. And as I was saying before, Sonya got absolutely nuked. The level 7 Emerald pick from Mischief is going to potentially really harm the benefit of Ancestral Healing at level 10 for Muffin Man. A 75% healing reduction really cuts the effectiveness of that single burst heal. Level 10's on both sides now. We've got Divine Shield, we've got Wailing Arrow, Bunker, Stay a While and Listen, and I know the name of this, Wrath of the Berserker. There you go. Wrath, the traditional pick when going for a full spin build. And we've got a Frozen Punisher here in bot lane. About even on structure health in bot lane as well, but in the top left we can see Juggerab working on this camp. They're going to get assistance from Pterosaur and Muffin Man. It'll give them a slightly late rotation to the objective, but they will have a pretty severe macro advantage. Of course, while they get this camp, it's given Seb all the room they need to finish off this bottom fort. This is a big deal. Cubico pops the Wrath, unable to connect the spear with any of Clouded Mines, however. So it looks like whereas Clouded Mines were the only ones to show up to Objective 1, we've got Seb as the only folks to show up to Objective 2, with Clouded Mines instead committing 4 heroes to the top lane here. With the Shaman camp behind them, they could get a lot of damage done, but Seb makes the great rotation, slowing this down, leaving Sonya solo on the objective, and that is a big problem for Clouded Mines. They've got a Frozen Punisher headed for their keep. Their benefit, of course, is that they do have level 13 talents ahead of Seb. This is a pretty big power spike for Kian on Johanna, damage-wise, potentially. We don't know what talent they'll pick. And Seb is happy to keep getting value with Sylvanas here. Juggerab had to spend the isolation. There's the Blessed Shield. Marbuckle falling low, but gets the Haunting Wave out. Bankai self-de-shields here. Cubico low, dodges the drag, however. Wrath of the Berserker's relentless quality, keeping them up throughout all of the CC from Clouded Minds. So a great engage, but in the end, Seb is able to make it out alive thanks to some solid support play, both from Mischief and Bankai. All the while, in bot lane, the Frozen Punisher was able to get a little bit of damage onto the keep, as well as keep front wall. Level 13s for Seb means that Blaze has become a true damage threat with the Collision Course talent really amping up the damage that Jet Propulsion does. Looks like we might have a gank attempt here on mid, Juggerab alone, but Bankai gets spotted thanks to another trap from the Junkrat. Seb has been ahead on these rotations every time. We've got Marbuckle and Cubico once again onto a fort before Clouded Minds can make the rotation. Of course, Clouded Minds is happy to take the trade here. They're going to get the rest of bot fort. Of course, they're going to have to deal with this 5-hero commitment from Clouded Minds soon. We do see the backs coming in now, but it's not going to be before this fort front, or keep front wall, excuse me, goes down. And the XP gap is narrowing here. That's the Blessed Shield, but once again, Wrath of the Berserker keeping Cubico pretty healthy here. Juggerab out far in front, eats the solo arrow from Sylve and will fall. 3 into the bunker here. Cubico once more keeps going. They're gonna potentially take out Ruffian here. There's a great Ancestral from Muffin Man to get the Junkrat out alive. Nullius connects with Pterosaur, but Orphea has a lot of self-sustain. Let's see if Kian can get out. They no longer have... The Iron Skin comes up just in time, but it's not enough. So, another couple of kills going over to Seb, and that's going to be the green light for them to set back up on top keep. Black arrows are applied, and Marbuckle puts a lot of pressure onto Ruffian. Hard to say exactly if the preference is for the keep or for the heroes, but with a little more black arrows, looks like Seb are going to fall back here. Johanna spawning any second now. Level 16 talents unlocked for Seb. It's a big power spike for Uther. Benediction able to double cast abilities now. Sylvanas also a lot more survivable with Will of the Forsaken unlocked. And Deckard has gone for Bonk Staff, Horadric Staff. So another stun for Seb as the next shrine is unlocked. Of course, Clouded Minds have their level 16s as well. We've got Burst Volley, not Burst Volley, what is this called? Spread Volley for Junkrat. Ruffian gonna potentially get a lot more clear on the objective here. And once again, we've got the macro advantage a little bit in favor of Seb with that top camp rolling. Cubico pops the Wrath. Nullius connecting with Ruffian. Silence onto 2. Kian gets 2 with the Blessed Shield, but Bunker is well placed. Cubico deep in the backline. Kian takes the Ancestral Healing, but Ruffian is taking so much damage. They cannot peel this Sonya off. Gets silenced by the isolation, trading 1 for 1. The Sonya and the Johanna going down. There are 24 skeletal defenders already secured. A huge stun from Nullius catches all 3, followed up by the Stay a While and Listen, and that's going to be all she wrote for 2 more from Clouded Minds. Seb really cleaning up in these team fights. All the while in top lane, they've had this camp and Catapult working on top keep. So they're going to get an objective and a keep. A absolute massive swing in favor of Seb there. Doing really well to leverage the Sylvanas, getting as much free structure damage as they can, and then really showing up in the team fights. With no real ability to shut down Cubico on the Sonya, the Wrath spinning Sonya on the back line is just absolutely wreaking havoc on Junkrat and Rhaegar. Of course, with how limited the wave clear is from Seb, Clouded Mines will all be back up in time for the defense, but it looks like Seb is interested in doing a little bit of a 39 here, trying to get every camp on the map that they can. We can see Cubico headed down to work on this Khazra camp. Experience about even in the race to 20. There it is. Seb finishing it off, collecting this Arcane Punisher for mid lane. And we've got Sonya in bot lane doing a little bit of side soak, trying to get them all the closer to level 20. About 3/4 of a level away now. We've got Juggerrob tending to the Sonya, and a great bait of the Punisher over the keep wall means that the keep can get involved to help clear out this Punisher before it does too much damage. About a half level away from Storm Talents for Seb now. Next jump lands onto Junkrat, not who you'd like to see it on, but they're able to kite out without too much hassle. We'll see how long Seb chooses to stick around here. They've got Blessed Shield on the side of Clouded Mines, so I'd love to see them look for this fight before the Storm Talent tier comes in for Seb. It looks like they're not going to find it, though. They're going to have to turtle up until their Storm Talents come online. Speaking of, Seb in the driver's seat now with Storm Talents. We've got Bulwark of Light, so AoE D-Shield for Deckard, Bolt of the Storm from Sylvanas, Fortified Bunker for Blaze, Endless Potions for Deckard, and Ignore Pain from Sonya. That armor further amplifying the survivability of Cubico, who has already felt almost immortal in this backline. A great route onto Marbuckle will dissuade any serious stepping up, but with a full line of potions, Seb are pretty happy to set up camp here. Of course, Ruffian brings a lot of great anti-siege. The Boop and the Trap both doing a good job to discourage Seb from getting too far up here. A Boop in onto Nullius will cause them to eat one keep shot, but it's nothing too serious. Mischief slowly creeping that potion line forward. Storm Talents on both sides here. We've got Storm Shield from Johanna. It's called Blinded by the Light. AoE Ancestral Farseer's Blessing from Muffin Man. Extra Oomph from Junkrat, looking for resets on their Riptire. And Contagion and, Engulfing Oblivion. So looking for a lot of resets, both on the Junkrat heroic and the Orphea heroic there. We've got an invade. Seb are able to scout it out, but it's not before the camp gets secured. Pterosaur in a lot of trouble, gets the Ancestral in time. Juggerrob lands the isolation onto 3, and Cubico is dead. This is a huge fight for Seb. Juggerrob falling low here. The D-Shield does not secure the final... Oh my god, a 4-person sleep and no one to wake them. What a great escape from Nullius. So, a huge kill. The Sonya has been kind of the bane of Clouded Mines' existence up to this point. And they're going to be able to even out the catapult pressure here in mid right as the objective spawns. It's going to be a Frozen Punisher, a important pushing tool for Clouded Mines. So they're pretty well set up here. Sonya was a lot of their power on the objective, so without her, it's going to be tough for them to contest. Blaze still brings a lot to the table, but certainly not as much. Of course, we do have Haka in the back dealing with the catapults from top keep. So it is 4v4 here. Kian gets the Blessed Shield. Will of the Forsaken will get Sylvanas out Ruffian is looking for the kill, looking to chase in with the spread volley. A slight lead on the objective here for Clouded Minds, and Seb are going to fall back a little bit, try and regroup. Now that Cubico is back on the field, Ruffian is the target. A huge Wailing Arrow lands onto 3. Kian still has the Iron Skin. They're able to get out. Juggerab lands another massive Contagion. Marbuckle falling low here. There is another Junkrat Heroic available, but the AoE D-Shield is going to keep everyone protected. Of course, the objective is secure. In the meanwhile, Seb are looking to fight past, trying to secure these kills. Juggerab in a lot of trouble, and they will go down. Pterosaur eats the stun from Deckard. That's going to be another kill going over to Seb. Kian does still have their Iron Skin available, so they're going to get out of here without too much trouble. And Seb are unable to push despite getting 2 hero kills in this late game, thanks to the Frozen Punisher, the Khazra, and these 2 catapults on the keep. They won't have minions with them for quite a while, so it is a big issue for them. It's the fight win that they needed after losing the Sonya and being unable to contest the objective in the early phase. Getting those hero kills, able to stem the tide of Clouded Mind's late game surge back into the game. So we are structurally almost at parity. Seb still hold on to their fort in top lane. I imagine that is where our next Punisher will spawn. So I'm going to look to see if Clouded Minds don't prioritize pushing in top lane here, trying to even out the objective advantage that Seb have built up for themselves. Of course, Seb are keeping busy themselves, perhaps getting a little greedy here, trying to get both of these camps. Oh, the Blessed Shield goes wide, however. That is an important miss. A great drag lands onto Cubico. They're still kind of on an island here, but looks like they are not feeling any sort of concern. Pterosaur able to kite out. Kian really low, but gets the Ancestral. A great kill onto the Sonya. D-Shield lands onto 2, but it's going to run out. I imagine Bankai will fall here. A reset from the Engulfing Oblivion. Muffin Man gets the kill with the bite in. Juggerab digs deep, looking for Marbuckle. The drag does not connect, and Marbuckle able to get a great Haunting Wave out to save them. So 2 kills going over Clouded Minds, and they're going to make the transition here to bot lane. They want to put pressure on Seb's core, see if they can't get another pick and siege up here. They don't have the best anti-siege. The Blink has been used. There's the bunker going down. Root onto 2, Ruffian falling low, as is Kian. Still a minute away from Ancestral. There goes Sonya. That's an important kill for Seb. Ruffian taking aggro of the core now. Mischief falling low. Juggerab unable to connect the drag, but that's Marbuckle going down. 3 catapults on the core, but here comes Cubico back from spawn. Core is down below 50%, but the Sonya has been putting in a lot of work for Seb. We'll see if it keeps the dream alive. It's not going to be enough. First game going over to the blue team. GG and well played. An exciting back and forth contest on our first map. The first game of Division C West of Season 17. And in the end, Clouded Minds are able to clinch it with some excellent late game team fight synergy, pairing the Engulfing Oblivion from Orphea as well as the Contagion from Dahaka. Taking a look at our stats here, we can see Orphea top of the damage overall. Sylvanas very close behind. Juggerab keeping Clouded Minds in the game thanks to all of that side soak. You can really get a lot done on a global hero like that. And the biggest stat line here, I think, is the 4 deaths from Cubico. Those coming in the late game really shifted the flow of the map in favor of Clouded Mines. Seb was really handily in control in the early and mid game, but in the end, getting those isolation kills onto Sonya really made all the difference for them. Super close. Really well played to both of our teams. Great. So let's head back to our battleground selection to see where we might head next. So really well played from both teams, and awesome to see Clouded Mines take that first map after a challenging start. They had a rough go of it last season, so I have to imagine that it is a big confidence boost to get a win on your first game back on the season. They also did a great job in the draft, controlling that Vala pick, like I mentioned earlier. It is an important pick for both teams, and so seeing the priority on the ban from Clouded Mines shows they really have done their homework. I'd love to see them continue on that track and kind of keep the comfort picks from Seb to a minimum, the Hogger ban as well, making sure that there isn't too much in Seb's favor that they're comfortable with. I also want to call out Muffin Man, the newest member of Clouded Mines. I thought they looked really strong on the Rhaegar, a couple solid purges, and the ancestral healing in the late game, able to land it on a couple key targets there when the going was getting tough. So keeping them in the fights, really great to see a player join a squad and kind of slot right in with them. Very cool to see. On the other side, for Seb's team, we also have a new player in that first game. Nullius is new to the squad as of this season. So, not new teams, but a couple of new players on both sides. Fun stuff. And if I didn't catch you before the game started, thank you all for tuning in. It's a pleasure to have you all. Thank you to anyone and everyone who has followed the stream. It's great to have you guys come out and support the community. These teams are going to love to be able to go back and watch the VOD, see you all cheering for them. I love the support that the NGS community provides to each other, so keep it classy, San Diego. I don't think I'll get DMCA'd for that. But it's great to have you all. Thanks, everyone, for tuning in. Looks like we will have a lobby started up here soon. For Game 2, we are going to Battlefield of Eternity, as chosen by Seb. Excellent. At this point in the season, I don't have any scouting data on whether or not these teams have a preference for these maps. I will say, given what I saw from their draft preferences in Season 16, I wouldn't be surprised to see Seb try and pull out another double support comp here on Battlefield of Eternity. The macro deficit that double support can occasionally have won't be as punishing on a two-lane map. And once again, I keep harping on it, but the Vala pick here is going to be an important thing to control for both teams. It is a strong pick for the map. It is a strong pick for both teams. I wouldn't be surprised to see it show up in the early ban phase here as well. I think I'll be interested to see how Kian performs moving on into this next map. We've got a strong preference from Clouded Minds for Johanna, but based on the scouting data I have, if I'm remembering correctly, Muradin is a pretty solid pick for, although not a common pick for Clouded Minds. It's something that they've done well with in the past and is pretty solid on the map. His ability to cross over terrain with Dwarf Toss means that he can really effectively threaten a lot of different areas in the objective center of the map where all of those walls and stones and terrain is. Certainly much more than a Johanna could. Also, Johanna's kind of biggest benefit, or one of perhaps the biggest benefits, she's a really strong hero, so she's got many, is her wave clear, of course. And with a 2-lane map, it is not as important to have solid wave clear across the whole team. So I'll be interested to see if Kian doesn't flex that pick a little bit more. Of course, I don't think the Orphea Junkrat damage profile from Clouded Minds that we saw last game really works on BOE. We'll see how they look to flex there. They have favored Li Ming in the past, so I wouldn't be surprised to see that picked here. Rock Your World calling that Seb will be bringing the Vikings into this map, or Samuro. All right, very interesting. That is something of note for Seb. They are a very flexible team, kind of shifting roles and playing your typically quote-unquote weird heroes. We've seen them last season play Abathur. We've seen them play Vikings. We've seen them play Samuro. They'll play double support. They'll play triple frontline. So true wild cards in the draft. It is a tough thing to prep for, I would imagine, if you're on the side of Clouded Minds. But so far, they've done a good job controlling the Vala pick and the Hogger pick. The two most popular heroes for Seb last season, not surprised to see them paying attention to those bans. And as long as they do that, as long as they control those two picks, I think they're going to still be in a pretty good spot. Of course, I am selfishly hoping for a Seb victory here in Game 2 so that we can get a third game. I hope we're all rooting for a little bit more HOTS. Very exciting to have everyone tune in for this first game of the season for C West specifically. I keep saying first game of the season in my head and then reminding myself only for this division, as we had the heroic div kick off Season 17 yesterday with heavy hitters and the negotiators facing off. Let me check in on our teams, see how they're doing here. Looks like we're still waiting for some on one of the teams. But there we have it. Okay, ready's on both sides. So I imagine we'll see the Li Ming here for Clouded Minds. unless, of course, Seb has done their homework. They might look to ban it here. Dahaka, Johanna, a lot of the picks that Clouded Minds snagged last game aren't necessarily as powerful here on our Battlefield of Eternity. So I don't know that Seb can really use last game's comps to inform their bans here. I'll be interested to see if they stick with the Garrosh ban or if they kind of look to flex past that. First ban here for Clouded Minds. I think it's gotta be the Hager or the Vala, unless they're looking to first pick Vala, which is a fair consideration. Diablo instead. As mentioned previously, a strong pick for Seb. Also another great map for the Lord of Terror. All of the terrain offering many different opportunities for a shadow charge stun. Say that 5 times fast, I guess. Shadow charge stun. Next ban here for Seb. It could be a... Yeah, there's the Li Ming. So Seb has done their homework as well. They don't want Clouded Minds to get on too many comfort picks, which I think is a great approach here. Clouded Minds played about half of all of the diversity heroes. That's a complex way to say it. Of all the heroes they played last season, about half of the cast that was played was only played for 2 or fewer games. And they did not perform particularly well on those niche picks. So keeping them off of their more comfortable picks, kind of pushing them towards their more niche picks, is a great approach for Seb. You can see the Junkrat ban. Junkrat offering a fair bit of vision control, so not too surprising to see the ban here. And that's that first pick Vala. Once again, that Vala priority between these two teams is as high as can be. Of course, Seb do have other options. Greymane has been a solid fallback for them when Vala is not available to them. Also works really well in a double support setup, which they favor. So I'll be interested to see if they try and lock in their burn, Immortal Burn here. They're going to opt for Hanzo and Malfurion. So Hanzo bringing some great ranged poke through their level 4 serrated arrows. W build really doing a lot of damage to PvE targets. There's the Blaze and Stukov. Alright. So Clouded Minds still don't have their main tank, potentially. Of course, they have played Blaze main tank in the past, so they could do a swap round. I wouldn't be surprised to see Seb ban out a main tank nonetheless. Opting for Chromie instead, trying to limit the poke DPS options that Clouded Minds have available to them. Vala, a great Immortal Burn DPS when she's able to get in proximity of the Immortal. But, you know, your Chromies, your Li Mings, your Junkrats, their ability to poke from great distance can be a huge boon in those mid-game stalemates. A Maiev ban onto Seb. I believe that is a Marbuckle special. And it's a pick that Seb has had a great deal of success with in the past, so not surprising to see the ban. Not necessarily the best Immortal Burn, but the team fight potential that Maiev brings to any draft is absolutely nuts. Alright, so a traditional tank for Bankai, picking up the ETC. And it's going to be Alarak from Marbuckle. Kind of a tech pick for Battlefield of Eternity. Telekinesis, a great ability for taking advantage of the stunning hazards that both Immortals put up, repositioning your enemies into those stuns, kind of just amping up all of the CC. And they've got a lot on the side of Seb, so with no cleanse for Clouded Mines, it's going to be a pretty rough go of it. Kael Thas and Anubarak. So looking for some CC blow-ups of their own. ETC might have a rough time surviving into the Stukov Anubarak. And there's that Hogger pick. Great. So let's take a look here as everybody loads in. On the side of Seb, the Malfurion ETC Alarak into a Stukov. All of that CC and setup into a cleanseless support is going to be tough for Kael Thas, I think. Especially if Hogger is able to Hortapult onto them, followed up by an ETC slide, a giant Hanzo arrow. They've got a lot of solid potential here on the side of Seb. I'm really liking their draft once again. We'll see if it's enough to clinch it as we get into our second game. And let's introduce our teams. Here on the left, in blue, we've got Clouded Mines. Kian on Anubarak, Muffin Man playing Stukov, Ruffian on Kael Thas, Juggerab playing Blaze, and Terrorsaur on Vala. And to the right in red, we have Seb. Bankai on ETC, Marbuckle playing Alarak, Nullius on Hogger, Cubico on Hanzo, and Mischief repping the Malfurion. Checking in on our level 1 talents. Nothing too out of the ordinary. We've got auto attack build, Krita the Hunter for Vala. Looking to stack auto attacks. Every 50 auto attacks, she gets additional damage for Hatred. Of course, it is a Gambit talent, so there is a risk that comes with that reward. Alarak opting for Extended Lightning at level 1, an E-build Alarak, as opposed to a combo build. So I'll be interested to see how that goes. Cubico already with 7 stacks on Simple Geometry, a really fast start for the W quest. Kian doing a great job to use a defensive Impale, keeping Clouded Mines safe from the engage of Seb. And Terrorsaur does not feel very comfortable stepping up here. Only 2 auto attacks landed onto heroes thus far. Terrorsaur vaulting in onto Cubico. But it looks like it's mostly a passive approach for both sides. Of course, Seb has successfully zoned Clouded Mines off of a little bit of the experience. So a slight XP lead going over to them already. A big double Kinesis, followed up by a Discord Strike onto Ruffian, gets them down to about half, but Muffin Man's got plenty of healing throughput with their Stukov. Stacking globes, we're already up to 3 for Ruffian. Oh my gosh, Vala looking very low, able to vault away and get out. Terrorsaur making it out with their Gambit talent stacks still around. And that's going to give Seb a lot more room to clear the bottom wave here. Of course, their wave clear isn't great. So we'll see. They are going to make the transition here to the bottom Khazra camp. And Terrorsaur, after having Hearth, is starting the top camp in response. No healing available for Vala, so it might be tough if Nullius goes in and checks the Vala on the camp here. Juggerab is keeping Nullius busy, so it's not going to be any invade. Another back from Terrorsaur. We've got both teams tending to their Shaman camps right as the objective comes up. Really solid timing for both of these teams to apply split pressure during the objective. And we can see Seb's plan here, immediately stepping up to defend, and a great telekinesis catches two. Marbuckle falling low here, and that's going to be first blood going over the Clouded Mines. And they're getting a solid start to the race here on this Immortal. Of course, with Hanzo's level 4 talent online, they're able to put a lot of damage onto the Immortal themselves. About a 3,000 HP lead for Clouded Mines. But of course, they're onto the race a little bit earlier than Seb after the halftime show, so they're going to be able to clean this up with their Immortal winning about a quarter of its HP and shields. Seb looking to get aggressive here. A huge gravity lapse lands onto 3. Marbuckle falling low here. Another gravity lapse. Are they going to be able to secure the kill? Juggerop comes in for the jet propulsion, but a great telekinesis to make him the escape. Absolutely massive plays. Great CC follow-up from Kian after a huge gravity lapse from Ruffian there. Level 7's just around the corner from 4 Clouded Mines. Double stun onto Bankai. They're caught in the lurking arm, and that's going to be it. Mischief falling low here, but they're able to escape. Muffin Man was able to secure that kill thanks to Low Blow at level 1, a favorite of many Stukov players. And we've got Energy Royal from Ruffian at level 4. I am used to seeing Netherwind looking for the extended range. Kian looking for Cubico here. They will get the vault over, but Juggerop gets the flank in. A kill onto Hanzo for the 3rd kill in the game. Level 7's on both sides now. And Marbuckle is getting stacked on their level 4, negatively charged at 7 stacks already. They've also unlocked the first quest reward for Extended Lightning, so they've got a lot more range to keep safe. This is where the limited wave clear from Seb is really going to feel a little tough to handle. Clouded Mines able to just push minion waves in here, getting about a third of the fort after their objective and that large wave. Of course, Kian has been spotted with a great vision arrow. They're falling low here. Bankai able to get a boop onto 2. Kian looking for Cubico now. Ruffian falling low, getting another gravity lapse thanks to that level 4 CDR. Of course, Juggerop makes another big rotation, another kill onto the Hanzo player. Mischief is out of mana and low on HP. Level 10's about a quarter of a level away from Clouded Mines, and they're likely to get this top fort. In the meantime, Nilius has made progress securing this bottom fort wall. And that is the next objective spawn. With Heroics coming online for Clouded Mines just now, I almost would like to see them defend their Immortal, kind of take advantage of this heroic talent tier advantage that they've got. Of course, the Immortals weren't in the best positions for that, and we can see that the race potential from Seb is there. Marbuckle on Alarak is one of the highest auto-attack DPS heroes in the game, if he's in range to do so. Bankai immediately popped out of the cocoon with a great scatter from Cubico. Bala securing the first stack on Creed of the Hunter. We've still got Pyroblast, Flailing Swipes, Bunker, and both charges of Rain of Vengeance available for Clouded Mines. Seb has Nilius soaking, looking for that heroic talent tier. Cubico will be the target of a massive stun from Juggerop. Juggerop getting these flanks time and time again, doing an excellent job on the Blaze. And the Pyroblast able to secure the Hanzo kill. The Shimada brother does not have much in the way of hit points, so able to, if Ruffian is able to find them and cast Pyroblast, it will be tough for them to survive. Heroics are available for both teams now. We've got Mosh Pit for ETC, Shockwave for Hogger, Dragon's Arrow, speaking of, lands onto 3, followed up by a Mosh, immediately interrupted by Kian, however. There is the Cocoon onto the Alarak. Marbuckle pops their... Oh, a lot of damage falling onto the Alarak. They make it out alive. So all heroics used, no kills secured, and the Immortal down to about half HP, but they're going to secure the fort nonetheless. Counter-Strike really well timed by Marbuckle to get them out of danger there. And they have completed their level 1. They have all talents available, or all quest rewards available. So their E now slows in the middle, which is a pretty strong spike for them. Bankai getting the stun onto Juggerrob, but no more chase or CC lands. A clean disengage from Clouded Mines. Level 13s are around the corner for them, about a half level away, and we can see Seb has most of the minions on their side of the battleground. So it's going to be tough for Clouded Mines to find the experience here. Of course, they do have a pretty solid vision advantage, so they're comfortable knowing that Juggerrob is not going to get invaded on this bottom camp. They're going to trade bottom and top camps, as they do not want to fight on even talent tiers with their next talents so close by. On the other hand, Seb would love to find a fight if they can. Their vision control with Malfurion's Moonfire is not too bad, especially when paired with the Sonic Arrow from Cubico. But has Cubico stayed a bit too long here in top lane? Looks like they're going to make it out alive. And it's a double camp in bottom. Nullius is going to have to spend a lot of time down here clearing all of these camps. Level 13 is online for Clouded Mines. We've got Burning Beetles, Ignite. Nope, Pyromaniac. Ignite is at 16. Pyromaniac offering CDR for Ruffian. So really doubling down on having cooldowns available more often. A solid choice for a spellcaster. They are still 2 globes away from securing their spell shield. Kian taking a lot of damage here. Bankai gets the Mosh onto 2, followed up by a massive arrow from Hanzo. There's 2 kills. Vala and Stukov both going down. Absolutely amazing engage there from Bankai, and perfect follow-up from Cubico. Really great heroic synergy there, and they were able to clear the side lanes before they started the fight. So Seb is in a great place after that fight win. Clouded Mines are going to have to back up, clear up the top lane, and it's giving Cubico free reign here on the Immortal. A root lands onto Kian, but they get the burrow charge away. Huge stun once again from Ruffian. It's a short cooldown for the Pyroblast. They're able to get the kill onto Malfurion. It's going to make it tough for Seb to contest. A great silence catches the Hogger. They're unable to spin away. Another kill going over to Clouded Mines. 8-2 in favor of Clouded Mines now. Of course, Marbuckle and Cubico do offer a lot of threat here with their displacement and damage, but without Bankai here in range, it's not going to be in time to stop the objective going over. And now Bankai caught alone after a great flailing swipe from Muffin Man, and the kill goes over. Cubico caught here, a great crossfire proc, and there's the kill. The last Vala coming in from Terrorsaur. Those kills and the objective skyrocketing Clouded Mines towards their level 16 talents. And it really is coming in largely thanks to the hero kill deficit. Almost 7,000 HP as compared to 2,000 for Seb. And there is the Mana Addict from Kael'thas completed. Level 16's now online. We've got Epicenter from Kian increasing his threat range once, or not his range, but the AoE of Burrow Charge. There is the stun in Kian eating the keep aggro. There's a stun onto Ruffian, but it gets interrupted. 2 kills by Juggerob, and the Immortal makes it through the keep. Absolutely massive turnaround after what looked like a disastrous start with Kian going down early. Turning those kills around, Marbuckle had to use their Counter-Strike a little bit earlier than I think they would have liked, and so they fell victim to some CC. As they clean up these catapults, we've got Clouded Mines working on bottom keep down to about half HP, so really far ahead now, structurally and experience-wise. Checking in on level 13 talents for Seb, we do have Pummel from Hogger. That is a big power spike for the hero, as well as Pure Malice. So trying to get as much of the benefit as they can from their unfortunate kill count thus far. Kian gets the engage on to Bankai here. Juggerob looking for the jet propulsion. It's a little early, but a huge stun and slow onto Bankai. They're able to make it out alive, so Marbuckle falling low. Cubico is gonna die to this Pyroblast. There's nothing to be done. Malfurion not known for his burst saves, and that's gonna continue the chase. 3 fall for Seb, and Clouded Mines look to clean this up. Marbuckle eating the jet propulsion from Juggerob. They pop the Counter-Strike, but not in time. Another silence. That's a 5 hero wipe for Seb, and that should just about do it here for Game 2. The core already down below full, and they're just going to clean it up here. Really well played on the side of Clouded Mines, able to secure it 2-0. Absolutely massive plays there in the end, and I really want to call out Juggerob's offlane play once again. They had some absolutely massive flanks in that game, really turning the early game against Seb. So really well played by them. Ruffian, of course, hitting massive gravity lapses as well. We saw 3 hero gravity lapses time and time again from them. Thanks, at least in part, to their level 4 talents. Let's check in on our stats and our builds. We can see Kael Thas, actually, top of the damage charts for Clouded Mines, with Marbuckle sharing that crown on the side of Seb. Looking at our builds, once again calling out the Energy Royal. The CDR from, like, the 8-second CDR, it means that Gravity Lapse is almost always up. Kind of huge, truly. And we saw all of the value that Ruffian was able to get out of that pick. So let me see if I can't wrangle an interview here with our winning team. Oh gosh. That's not quite right. Excuse me, friends. Excellent. There we go. So a 2-0 start to the season for Clouded Mines. Definitely what you want to see from the definitely what you want to see after a team starts their season after a somewhat tough one. And it looks like we will have an interview here. And let me just swap over to the interview scene so that everyone can hear you. Welcome in. Super well played. How are you feeling after the first series of the season?
Hi. We are feeling amazing. That was an extremely exciting match. I mean, it was so well played, like, by both sides. We were like really stressed out the whole time.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, game one in particular, Infernal Shrine struck me as extremely close. Uh, Cubico on the Sonya doing a great job kind of pestering the backline there. What were comms like during those team fights in game one?
Sonya, oh my god, Sonya, oh my god, save us, Sonya, oh my god. That was what comms were like.
Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. Um,
No, we just tried not to like let it get to us and tried to be patient, you know.
mhm.
And there was a lot of talk about like Sonya's the problem. She's the one we kind of like really need to get rid of.
Yeah,
Because she was all over us.
in the
So
late
yeah.
game, you guys were able to turn it around, though, getting picks on Cubico in the start of two of those pivotal fights, really kind of turning around the fortune, as well as Juggerob hitting some huge contagions. I want to say each isolation post 20 hit at least two, if not three people.
I'm definitely gonna have to watch it back, but yes, I know there were some critical plays by our front line there at the end that enabled us to get that kill on Sonya, which was huge for us. And you know, we were able to turn it around from there. So it was looking a little dire up until that point.
I will say it was fun to see the extra oomph and the engulfing oblivion. Watching both of you guys reset your heroics like two or three times in a fight post 20 was pretty exciting.
It was a very fun. That was a really fun game, but man, that was rough. You know, the first I feel like the first half of that game, but then we just, you know, stuck with it and trusted our team fight and didn't get down about it, and luckily we're able to turn around a big team fight there at the end.
Yeah, it was super clean in the end there from the team. Game two, of course, was a lot more one-sided in y'all's favor. I'm gonna call out Stukov, Muffin Man. Muffin Man also game one played very well. Some key ancestrals in those late game fights, but for this game too, the Stukov looked like the combos were right on point, keeping everyone in the lurking arm. Of course, they had a lot of help. You hitting 3 hero gravity lapses, Kian hitting massive burrow charges, and once again Juggerob hitting big flanks. Is Battlefield of Eternity a map that you guys were worried about facing off against Seb after they showed a double support comp for game one?
A little bit. They ended up picking the map, so we didn't really have a choice. It wasn't one that was banned.
True.
So we were actually struggling, you know, trying to figure out what map we would want to take them to, but then they took the decision out of our hands. We were concerned about, we didn't want to face a Maiev on that map, so I think we banned that with our third ban. Because that would have been really nasty.
True.
And we just made sure we had a lot of stuns, which worked out great with the Stukov silence, because we were able to kind of, you know, like hold them in there and keep them silenced and, you know, get kills that way. So it ended up working out. And then actually it was Muffin Man who was like, go Pyroblast, they have no cleanse. And so Muffin Man was like on fire tonight. Like,
yeah, Pyroblast.
he had all the great advice.
Pyroblast was lots of fun. It's great to see. Correct me if I'm wrong here. Muffin Man is new to the roster this year.
That's right. Muffin Man and also Terrorsaur are
great.
both new to the roster this season.
Awesome.
So we're really excited. We've obviously been doing some practicing in the off season, but you know, you never know until you hit that first match. So we're feeling really happy and, you know, and good about our new group and excited about the season.
Excellent, excellent. Well, that's all the questions I have. Before you get out of here and celebrate with your team, the floor is yours for any shout outs you want to give.
Awesome. Well, first of all, thank you very much for picking up the cast. I know other of our friends, you know, were able to watch it and cheer us on, so that's super cool. Thank you very much for that.
Absolutely.
And then we wanted to shout out to Seb because, I mean, they played amazing. Like, especially game one. I mean, and game two, like they were playing great as well. But they were very strong opponent, and we're, you know, definitely feeling good coming out with a win against a strong team like that. And then a shout out to my team. I'm really excited for the season, and hopefully this is the start of some great things. And I also want to shout out to the CM org. We've got 3 teams this season, and so we'll be cheering each other on. And thanks for the support from the other CM teams.
Awesome. Very cool. Well, thank you for the interview, Ruffian. Have a great evening.
Thank you. You too. Bye-bye.
So long. All right, a great series of great way to kick off the season for C West. Clouded Minds able to put an exclamation point on their Game 1 win with that Game 2 play. They're going to be a team to watch for the rest of the season. Seb performed quite well last season, making it all the way to the divisional or the coastal finals. So getting a 2-0 win here for Clouded Minds has got to feel really good, especially, and must feel good for all of you out there if you are fans. Before I sign off, I want to give some shout-outs of my own. A big shout-out to all of the programmers, artists, and musicians whose work I feature here on my stream. It wouldn't look or sound anywhere near as good without their contribution. You can find all of their information in the descriptions below. You can also stick around for a little credit roll that will happen at the end of the broadcast here, or with the command !credit in chats, credits, plural, in chat. And a big shout out to all of you for turning out for the first game of the season. It's great to have you. It's great to have everyone supporting this grassroots league of ours. It's wonderful to be a part of, and it wouldn't be the same without all of your participation. So thank you all. Until next time, I've been The Sound. You've been excellent. Good luck, have fun, peace, and love.